hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.
Welcome again to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraka, and on Street Talk we deal with political, social, and economics here in Michigan, the U.S., and abroad. Now, joining me tonight,
Dennis Burnside,
Charles Thomas,
Paget Maynard.
we got a lot to cover, but first of all, we got to talk about this a little bit, you know, and we can add some and during the coming weeks, but what's happened to our black people, man? The way they're killing each other. What is it, man?
Well, colonized, oppressed people worldwide resort to violence to settle their disputes. That's a worldwide phenomenon. When you have people living in poverty, when you have people bereft of economic opportunity, educational opportunity, traditional family and cultural ties, and they feel lost and bereft of opportunity, they resort to violence. That's anywhere you go in the world. Here in the United States, we've certainly got that problem with some of the demographics in the black community, but I think we have to be aware of a couple of things. One, the media plays it up to the nth degree. About 1% of all African Americans have been arrested and accused, not convicted, arrested and accused of a violent crime. Only a percentage of that violent crime is murder. The second thing is, or the third thing rather, is people kill who they know. People kill where they live. People kill who they love. So Europeans kill Europeans, Asians kill Asians, and black folks kill black folks. So I think if you look at all those things in total, it explains why the loss of our cultural traditions, the loss of our native tongue. We can't cite. I can tell you what my DNA test tells me I am, but I can't tell you what language my people spoke. I can't tell you what their traditional recipes and dances were. I can't tell you what they did for entertainment or education, but Europeans and Asians can. So all in all, we've got a lot of people out here floating in a bowl of manure that is not of their own making, left to their own devices to figure out how to navigate.
But you know, I mean, we've got blacks out here, women with 2 or 3, 4 or 5 kids, no husband, don't want no husband, and kids grow up to be 10, 11, 12 years old, drops out of school. I mean, Chuck and I, we grew up in the 60s. and I'm gonna tell you, it was rough, but it wasn't like it is now. We
No, it's
got
not.
we got blacks just killing blacks just for fun, and I've never seen, and I've read and studied and all this. I have never seen a race of people doing that to each other. I mean, blacks just killing blacks just for fun.
Well, my thing is this. The reason that I like this, these no good, sorry preachers in our community telling us that a white man is better than anybody, that anything that we can do, and religion is killing us. We don't have any faith in ourselves. If we have faith in ourselves as a people, we could develop something if we would unify, establish a credit union, work with economics, encourage our children to be responsible and be an example to our children, instead of leaving them in the lurch and letting them guess and repeating the same old ignorance, because it was slavery. Religion was used to enslave us. And until we recognize that ain't no man God, and you have to start teaching that and believe that you are somebody. But when you tell your child that a white man is God, and you got to go through this white man to get to heaven, that's ludicrous when you're not white. That's why white people got the big head, because they think that they special because they taught us this white image. White people bought the lie more so than black people. That's what's wrong with Donald Trump.
Okay,
Narcissist.
okay, Paget. Okay, we see other people, other race of people. They have problems. But I heard this. Somebody was saying this a couple of weeks ago. Oh, that COVID has got. COVID ain't has nothing to do with you out there shooting your own people.
Right.
Go to the ER in Charlotte some weekend. Go see what's happening out in Eden Rapids. Go someplace like Saranac. My point is, man, we're economically deprived people are trapped in a situation not of their own making. They don't have a way out. The good jobs that you could get out of high school back in the day are gone. You can't raise a family with good union benefits coming out of high school with no education beyond. Some didn't even graduate high school and had a fabulous lifestyle working for the big three. Let me finish. So now the white women are having 3, 4, 5 babies with no husband and don't want a husband. Now you're starting to see white on white crime, but it's not marketed that way. It's not reported that way. It's just reported as simply a crime. But if Letitia shoots Jerome, oh, black on black crime. If Shanika have twins and she already got one, it's a problem. Meanwhile, out in the rural areas, Cody and Mary Jane making babies too, and they ain't no closer being married than that hat over there.
Well, but
so let's not pretend like this is only a black phenomenon.
Yeah, but the thing is that for me, I'm thinking about my race. I'm thinking about blacks.
Well, put it in context,
I could talk about other races.
But you got to put it in context. You can't isolate the black people and act like it's just them.
But what you say about it, Patrick?
It's a problem all around. Okay? And yes, unfortunately, when it is our race, the black race, you hear it more than other races. For whatever reason, they choose not to report it as it should be reported. It's quick to say, oh, Dennis did such and such and such. Oh, and he killed your own black brother. And out here now, Mary Jane beat up Susie because Susie was making moves on her boyfriend. All right? Whatever happens out of that in the end. But you don't hear much of that. And yes, go back to Dennis. Dennis is right. Charles talk about religion. It's not the religion that is doing that to them. Now, yes, they use religion, quotes, because they didn't have it right. They used pieces of what the Bible says and whoop you with it. You see, you got to obey your master. Slaves, obey your masters. What? And that went on for a long time because much of it, when we, blacks, got to a point where we saw and understood and knew better, we were only looking to get our tails out and not spreading the word as we should, teaching each other. Go back. You take the whole village. You talk about our youngsters here. We see them. We know what they're doing. How many of us take time out to talk to them and try to educate them? Yes. Why don't we? Because the moment you start talking to a kid today, his parents are all over you for correcting the kid, which wasn't so when I was a kid.
Well, I mean, I said, you know, back in the '60s, you know, I mean, you know,
You stayed out of grown folks' business.
yeah.
But y'all
You
missing
know,
something, man.
But
What happened in 1971? What happened? You had the social welfare programs that said, we'll give you food, we'll give you a roof over your head,
Get that black man out.
but
of
you
there.
got to have the man out of here. You can't. If you got an intact family, you get nothing.
Yep.
If you have a live-in boyfriend, you get nothing. So the family schism, which was already there because of the pressures of post-enslavement Jim Crow and lack of economic opportunity, was exacerbated by some of these governmental programs. And it's not to
Exactly.
say that those programs weren't needed. It's to say that they were done in a way that was not in our best interest. It should not have encouraged women and men to split from one another. And
Well,
that's what happened. So if you look at the problems of the black community and you want to talk about black on black crime, okay. But we hear about something happening out in Wakasta somewhere. Let's call it white on white crime.
well,
When we hear about some murders in Chinatown and Chicago, San Francisco, let's call it Asian on Asian crime. And
But-
people look at you like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Because it's alien to them in terms of a thought process where it's been so indoctrinated into us that we accept it as almost as if it's a social discipline.
Right.
And it's not.
Right. And that's because
It's just crime.
Right, but that's because we have economically separated ourselves from the white man. The white man ain't gonna help you out. The white man is benefiting from you being confused. But if you were to take and create your own economic base and create black jobs, black employment, instead of, you know, a grocery store in the community, things that circulate money around in your community, like Black Wall Street, that beautiful model city that we had in Tulsa. If we would keep implementing that and don't give up, then we can show Joe and Frankie and everybody else that you can do something by working together.
But in the age of neoliberal economic policies, how are you going to show Joe and Frankie how to compete when you can't compete with Walmart?
Yeah, but
Wait, no, ain't no but. You can't compete with them. How you gonna hire somebody to sell something?
Well,
You can't compete with
but
that business
Walmart
model.
wasn't always there. Everybody started.
Walmart's here now.
Right. Everybody
Walmart's here
started.
now. We gotta deal with it now.
But they started small and they got big because they were supported by their own people.
No, they were supported
Wait
by
a
people.
second.
No, but
Wait a
Walmart's
second.
business model said we're gonna go in communities that don't have supermarkets. We're gonna go into communities that don't have pharmacies. That's how they started.
Yeah, but
They were supported by local people
Right.
because they had local people living hand to mouth.
Right.
And right now, as I sit here across from you today, Walmart has a business model that's predicated on them hiring people who still must go out and get food stamps and go out there and get social support. Now you tell me If you're going to be able to set up a store where you're going to set the first person to sit down and fill out an application, say, oh, yeah, also fill out this government form here so we can give you governmental assistance for food and medicine and housing. See, Walmart does that routinely. Can you do that?
Right. Yeah, you can if you work together. You can go out and buy a farm,
Wait a
raise
second.
your cows, raise your sheep,
Hold on,
raise
you
your
know.
produce,
Okay.
like everybody else had.
Everybody else, nobody's competing with Walmart. The moms and pops and grand legends.
Forget white folks. I'm talking about.
No, I'm talking green, bro. It don't matter what color
That's what
melanin
I'm
you
saying.
have. How you going to
We-
compete against
We
them?
got to start somewhere for ourselves and for our next generation
How?
by working together.
Charles,
Well,
All right, man.
listen. I get you. But look at it. If I don't have it to start with, it's not there. How could I set up something?
Bingo.
Number one.
With a-
Okay, you're
with
going
a
to tell me,
program.
well, you could go and get grants and whatnot. How often do you, one of us,
Yeah.
get one of these grants? Because who is dishing out the grants? Even when they had some money out for the people the other day, the small, the COVID and the PPP, who was getting it? People, the Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers got millions of dollars. Why? And little people like me and you who trying to do a little business couldn't get anything. Tell me how we gonna, I mean, I get you, Dennis. The competition is not there. And even if we are saying, we cannot do it together until we start recognizing our problem. We
Right.
don't see our problem. We are still individualistic.
We-
I have this is mine.
Right.
We don't see our. And
know.
until we get that picture, our,
Yeah.
we're not going any place.
We got to trust. You start with trust. You're built on trust and responsibility. Everybody does it.
Man, when you talk about trust, they said trust and no pay. So if I trust in you and then you gone and I ain't getting no pay, how could I keep on trusting you?
You just keep doing it
No,
until it happens.
No, I hear you, but the reality of it is,
You'd rather go to corporate America instead.
The
That's the
reality,
reality.
Charles, we got to look at that. Even though there is a need, we ourselves have to first see the felt need. We have to recognize our need. Back to Dennis earlier talking about the welfare system and whatnot. Do you know even if you're on Social Security and you're married, you lose money? I know this happened to people. These two people, they had to divorce in order to maintain their individual income so that they could make ends meet. You break up a marriage. The marriage is the unit of the family.
but Patrick,
But that's the plan. To destroy the family.
Patrick,
And when they destroy the family, they destroy everything else with us.
Right, and that's our problem.
Patrick, all this is good. Now back to, we are killing each other. We are killing each other's, man, in the neighborhood. You know, we got blacks on blacks just shooting blacks down. Now, so what we got to do? Wait 200 more years before that?
No.
Before that happens? Before
No.
they stop doing that?
Let me ask you a question then, Ahmad. What can you do? What ought to be done to stop black on black crime? What is the recipe?
You know, for me, one of the recipe is when you out here killing blacks, black on black killing blacks, put them in jail
Okay,
and give them
then what?
about 50 years
And then what?
and move on.
That ain't been happening.
Are they gonna move? I'm gonna tell you what gonna happen. It's not gonna stop it. It's gonna create more of it.
Oh,
What needs to be done and what should have been done, black men be more responsible. We created this monster, so we got to deal with the monster. The white man is benefiting from the monster that we created.
How are you going to uncreate the monster?
Tell them the truth. Be frank.
Which
be
is?
upfront with them. Be a man. What is it like to be a man? What's the responsibility of a man?
I'm going to say it again. Over 99% of African Americans are nonviolent. Over 99%. Yes, that's a fact. That's numbers. We can talk about remedies and speculate all we want, but the plain fact of the matter is 99% of African Americans are nonviolent. The people who kill other people within their community, irrespective of color, on a rate that exceeds the mean, are people who are underprivileged, under-resourced, miseducated, and poor. It happens everywhere.
Okay.
It happens irrespective of melanin. If you want
Let me
to
ask
focus
you
on,
guys a
if you
question.
want to focus on black people killing black people,
Well,
we can talk about a lot of reasons, like our disconnect from our mother tongues, our disconnect from our ancient cultures. But to just single us out as if it's just us.
This is we talking about blacks here. You know, we're not talking about the other different races. We talking about black on black.
How can we get on track?
Okay, well, you talk about building a grocery store, right? You show me one grocery store of any ethnic group where you can go in there and get anything from a broad spectrum that you put in your home, like you get at Myers. Yeah, you can go to some Korean stores and get some ethnic specialty foods and products.
Yeah.
But even those people still have to go to Walmart and Myers. Let me finish. Same thing with Hispanic people, and you also had that same thing with some African American stores. So the idea, again, we got to look at the waters are swimming in, and right now we're in a neo-colonial economic system that is all about big multinational corporations, and it's hard for me to understand how you getting up and say, "Come on, brother, do better. Let me talk to you." Is going to help him open up a store.
But they had a store.
That's fantasy.
But they ran an interstate through all the black businesses and all the communities.
And at one time, Walmart didn't exist. So, but you're talking about back in the 60s, 50s, and 40s. I'm talking about now, bro.
But that's how they broke it.
But how?
Okay, so it's broken.
Yeah.
So let's not talk about old policy. Let's talk about what we need to do today.
We need to get away from corporate America.
And we do that how?
By creating our own corporate.
And we do that how?
But
Money.
then, Charles,
And we get that
they still
where?
cooperate.
By making it.
And we make it where?
By growing your own.
Charles, I understand.
Do for self.
I understand you, okay? And it sounds good. It's a good idea.
But it takes work.
It's a good idea. But until we begin to have something to work with, we can't do it. We don't have the money. We don't have the raw material.
We got more millionaires.
We don't
got
have
more millionaires
anything.
and billionaires than we ever had.
We have millionaires and billionaires who are black.
Yeah.
How many of them you can point on now and say, this one did this for the black community, that one did that for his black community? Where could you find them? How many of them? I mean...
Well, right back to what we was talking about when we first started talking about it, I mean, we can wait another 300 years for blacks to...
No, let me ask you a question. Why is it that you have people committing murder? Let's say murder. That is like the ultimate. Most of the time, I believe, it started from something completely different. Maybe I try to break in your house to steal. Mm-hmm. You either shoot me or I shoot you. So, and I'm going to make sure I get rid of Dennis and Charles to leave no evidence, no witnesses. So, we are getting this spreading more and more. But it started from something else. This guy didn't have food. He come to your place and steal. Instead of knocking on your door, asking you for a bread, which is what should be done.
That all sounds, reality and everything. But when you got 8 or 9 cities now already going to break records for black killing blacks, that's what I'm talking about. And these blacks ain't out, well, they needed some bread, I
can give you a suggestion before
these
you
blacks
go any
just
further.
out killing blacks.
Before you go any further, take up a task. All these people you know who have been committing murder, try to talk with them and find out why they did it, what prompted them to do it. And let's see if we can find out why we are killing each other.
Poverty.
Is it because you hate me?
Poverty.
Poverty?
Hate is the first thing.
Now, poverty is not a crime.
Hate is
Self-hate.
Poverty might lead to crime.
It's the result of it.
It leads to crime.
And it creates
And
crime.
we have always been the impoverished ones. And therefore, and we know it's true, poverty leads to crime, and since we are the most impoverished, then it would reasonably follow that we are committing more of these crimes because, see?
Yeah.
Cause, effect.
Yeah.
So, what we got to do now?
Italians kill Italians, Irish kill Irish, Scottish kill Scottish. If you go back to the beginning of the 20th century at the creation of organized crime, it started in metropolitan areas where children, poor children, who had little supervision and support, ran the streets and created criminal gangs in order to eat better.
Mm-hmm.
The Irish, the Italians,
Catholic Church.
Well, yeah, but the Catholic Church, man, has been around since 325 AD.
Yeah. And they
Okay, and depending on the culture that was in, you didn't necessarily have high crime. It just depends on what your economic base is. But you can't separate black on black crime from any other type of crime in terms of what creates that crime and what causes it to go on.
Yeah.
You can focus on it,
Right.
and you can try to come up with solutions, but if you ignore the fact that we're impoverished, we're bereft of opportunity, we're bereft of educational opportunities, and we're bereft of hope in these clusters of economically deprived people, you're missing the point. Again, 99% of black folks don't commit violent crime. 99% of black folks don't commit violent crime.
And I'm sure
Can I
that
say it
goes
one
for
more
other
time?
communities too.
Pardon me?
I'm sure that goes for other communities. It's not the masses that does it. It's the minority.
Go ahead. You were saying.
Well, I'm saying that it's just a cluster of a lot of chaos. And if you don't change, your situation gonna change. If you don't change, you're gonna keep getting the same thing. You're gonna keep complaining and talk about the same thing over and over and over until you change. And the only way to change is to do something different that you haven't been doing before.
Okay. I just want to read what Malcolm X said in 1961. Most blacks would rather be another race than their own. And he also said that when blacks meet blacks, blacks want to swell up and not speak and all of these other things. But when we see whites, we skinning and grinning.
Yeah, conditioning.
That's all we got. That's
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.